Hey, how's it going? Dave 2D here. So the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL, these have been my exclusive phones for the past couple of weeks. Mostly the Pixel 3. I have a preference for the size. I like the fact that it doesn't have a notch, and I've put more time on this one than I have on the XL. But I thought I'd do a video that kind of talks about some things I liked about them, some things that I really don't like about them, and maybe help you decide whether or not you should get one. So I like the size of the Pixel 3 a lot. It actually feels way better in my hand than I thought it would. The glass on the back does scratch very easily. On the white, it's not as visible when you scratch it. The color kind of masks the marks, but on the dark colored version of the Pixel, it's actually quite visible. So this device with the Pixel stand is a great combination. So when you put it on, it charges wirelessly and it turns your phone into this quasi Google Home. It's not as good as a regular Google Home, either Mini or Max, just because of the mic sensitivity. So normally on a regular Google Home, you can be quite far away from your device and it'll pick up your voice. But for whatever reason, on either of the phones, either the XL or the regular, you have to actually be quite close to the phone or speak at a more elevated volume to be able to trigger the Google Home functions. Now that's something that may be able to fix with software, but right now I do have to speak at a abnormally loud voice to make these things work. Something I noticed with the Pixel stand, this is the only wireless charger that can charge the Pixel 3 or the Pixel 3 XL at the full 10 watts. All the other wireless chargers I've tried, which is like 5 or 6 of them, can only hit slow wireless charging speeds. It'll say that it's rapidly charging, but it isn't. If you check the amperage that's going through, it's quite low. And I'm not sure if that's something they can tweak with software again, but right now, you can only charge these things rapidly through the Pixel stand. And that thing's like 80 bucks, which is pretty expensive for a wireless charger right now. The speakers on these phones are good. They're stereo speakers again, like the Pixel 2 XL that I had last year, but these sound a lot better than the Pixel 2 XL speakers. Now, the Pixel 3, like the regular Pixel 3, I think has a better speaker system than the Pixel 3 XL. Now this is louder, it's definitely a louder speaker, but the speaker on the left, or the speaker in the notch, is noticeably quieter than the speaker on the right. And this might be something that wouldn't bother most people if they're just listening to something for like 5 or 10 minutes, but if you're watching a movie, or if you're going on a bender and watching like a ton of music videos on YouTube, and you're using the Pixel 3 XL, it feels weird. It's like when you have headphones and one side is broken, so one headphone is louder than the other. It's just not a great experience. And this only exists on the Pixel 3 XL. On the regular Pixel 3, there is a noticeable difference as well if you listen for it, but it's not nearly as pronounced. And even after using these for an extended period of time, they never bothered me. I spent more time with the Pixel 3 than the Pixel 3 XL for the past couple of weeks. My SIM card has been in the Pixel 3, and I feel that the battery life on this phone is very average. I was expecting it to be, expecting is the wrong word. I was hoping for it to be longer because it's a new phone, new technology, new SoC, but I found it very similar to the Pixel 2 XL from last year. I'm ending the day with like 20 to maybe 40% battery life, depending on what I was doing. It's not disappointing, but I was hoping for better. Now, the display on this phone is excellent. The display on both of these phones is really good. I would say that the Pixel 3 XL display is better, higher resolution, but that notch though, I couldn't deal with it. I know there was software to pull it down and kind of hide it, but it never looked quite right to me. That notch was so deep. The Pixel 3 screen is more symmetrical, and despite the bigger forehead and chin, it just looks more appropriate to me, and I guess I'm more tolerant of a top and bottom bezel than a notch. Now, I was a little bit worried about the resolution. Like, I haven't used a 1080p screen for a while, but it's really sharp. It's an excellent screen. Both of these are running Snapdragon 845s. They're both great performers, but the Pixel 3 XL definitely has better thermal management. When I was running 3D Mark repeatedly on these phones, the Pixel 3 was dropping its score pretty quickly after even the second run. The Pixel 3 XL was able to maintain its score a little bit better. This is not something that most people are going to care about, but if you're going to buy these phones and you plan on playing games on it, I would definitely pick up the XL instead of the regular 3. They're both not clocked at the highest, like they're both at 2.5 gigahertz, I think, instead of the standard 2.8. So these are not great gaming phones either way, but performance for regular stuff, kick ass. Okay, RAM management is the last thing I want to talk about, and this is something that kind of bugs me about these phones. So these both ship with 4 gigs of RAM, which in 2018 is a very small amount of RAM. There are flagships out there, competitors that are shipping with like 8. Some phones are coming out with 10 gigs of RAM, like the Black Shark, but 4 gigs of RAM on a flagship phone feels anemic for 2018. And I'm getting app closures when I'm running 4 or 5 apps, which is really bad, particularly with music streaming apps. When you look at companies like OnePlus and they're sticking 8 gigs of RAM into phones that are 600 bucks, it just makes a phone like this feel out of place. And I get it, like when it comes to phone manufacturing, sometimes it's easier and even cheaper to just stuff phones with RAM and not have to deal with memory management software. Like, it takes time and effort and like just a lot of work to make a phone like this utilize 4 gigs of RAM efficiently. It can be done, and Google's a software company. If there's one company that can do it well, it's Google. It's just that right now, this feels really half-baked. This phone should be able to use 4 gigs of RAM better, but that being said, I still think they should have put more memory in here, because when you have competitors that are putting in double the amount of memory for a cheaper price, it's just a bad look. So are these phones good? Are they worth your money? Now, I'm someone who really values the whole pure or stock Android experience. I know it's something that a lot of people don't care about, but it's something that I personally enjoy. So for me, it is worth the premium to get that Google experience with the amazing Pixel camera. So that camera, you've probably seen tons of videos on it already, is an amazing camera. It's very good at capturing light data. It's powerful. Its night sight is good. The Top Shot feature is so useful when you have a kid and you want to get him in a good photo. Like this photo would have been very difficult to get without Top Shot. That smile on his face lasted a split second. And this is actually one of my favorite photos of him, and without Top Shot, I probably wouldn't have been able to catch it. The one thing I don't like about the camera system on this phone is that the microphone is really poor. A lot of camera phones don't have great mics to begin with. This one sticks out as being really bad. But all the things that I don't love about this phone are relatively insignificant to me. Now, if you're someone that really cares about microphone quality and you want fast charging from your wireless charger and all that stuff, there are things that are not perfect about this phone, obviously. But for most people, if you're willing to pay that steeper price for that Google experience and that Pixel camera, I think it's a great phone this year. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.